We're recording.
Very good.
Fran, did you say you were gonna?
No,
Okay.
you can.
All right. So, the first is attendance. Today is April 15th. We have Jim, Fred, Alan, Charlie, and Fran on the call-in line. And the second thing is to review the old minutes. I've read them. I move we accept as written.
Second.
Okay, we'll move on. And under new business, the first thing I have is placement of maps. We put out trail maps for the Old Colony Rail Trail. I don't think we do the Cape Cod Rail Trail anymore.
No.
Is that? Yes.
No,
So
we don't.
we
The folks at Nickerson do.
yes. So we will. Fran usually gets the maps. We just need people to take them out. I've done them over the last 2 or 3 years.
Where do they go?
Like at the church, there's a box at the church. There's
Rotary.
a box at the Rotary, yes.
Oh.
And
At the end at Chatham.
at the end of
Right
June.
by-
What about
in front
like
of the airport?
restaurants and stuff? Like
No,
pizzerias?
just the boxes.
Oh.
And so we're just looking for people to do it. So you sort of need to, you go out there about once a week. Sometimes
Do we have the maps yet?
we don't have the maps yet, right,
Do we know
Fran?
when we'll have them?
Paul does, I believe.
Yeah, Paul may have them, and he couldn't make today's meeting. So I guess we'll table that, and if we get the maps, we'll put out an email. Does that sound good, Fran?
Yes.
Okay.
I know I don't have a supply any longer.
Yeah, I'm all out. And
What about the bike shops now?
we just don't do it. We give it. Once we have them in hand. If you're putting them out and you want to give some, absolutely. The more we get out there, the better off we are.
So Friends of the Cape Cod Rail Trail does a distribution to bike shops and some of the businesses that sponsor the map.
But do they do it to the Cape Cod Rail, to the Chatham Harwich link?
Well, I mean, as far as like a bike shop or the.
Yeah.
If it's a sponsor of the map, then they bring the
Oh,
maps.
that,
See,
I
yeah.
see. I got you.
The next issue that I wanted to address, it's under old business too. I'll wait for old business. We wanted to develop a plan for a joint meeting. We've been contacted by the folks from Chatham and the folks from Brewster as well. And so we just need to have a contact person who, can act as our point person to do that. That's all. Any volunteers?
I'd volunteer to do that after. Sorry about that. I'd volunteer to do it after the end of August, but I'll be back in Europe next week. So.
Okay. Well, that's understandable.
How about somebody who's not here? Have them volunteer.
Jim likes doing that. We just volunteered Paul.
Paul would be good for this. He's a very, kind of an ambassador type
Uh, we'll table that and think about it. How about that, Fran?
Okay.
Figure that out. The next place under new business, I have trail condition. I'll report that Old Colony Rail Trail went out at the end of last year and ground down the bumps, and they did a fabulous job doing that. It isn't completely sealed back up. It's sort of a temporary fix, but it really works very, very well. And my bike, it's smooth for my bike. Let's put it that way. And,
guy. I agree. And our highly critical friends from Chatham even approved.
Oh boy!
I think
One
it's
of
a
our friends
dramatic
said the
improvement.
Great Wall
Dramatic.
of Harwich is
It's
now
a dramatic
removed.
improvement, but a word of caution. I noticed a distinct deterioration in those places where they shaved them down between when I was last here. I was here in early February.
Okay, yeah.
And when I was out running the rail trail over the last few days.
Okay.
So what I'm noticing is that where they've ground down, the cracks are now starting to deteriorate, and we're starting to see little crumbs. And I fear that if those things aren't sealed, it's going to get a lot worse. Now, at the end of the day, like, what's worse, the big bump that people were tripping on or crashing on their bikes, or like a little bit of gravel? Probably the big bump. So I think we're better off. But if there's a budget and resources to seal those, not all of them need to be sealed, but some of them, especially like along the right behind town hall.
Yes.
That way.
Yeah. Link spoke to us about that.
Okay.
He said that would deteriorate, and that he was doing it as a temporary fix.
Okay.
And that grand plan, it'll be sealed over when they do the project.
Should be okay.
Yeah. And so will it deteriorate a little bit more between now and then? Yeah, I think so.
And if they get bad enough, like, we'll figure something out.
And
we
I'm
can always go there. Like, I do this
Yeah.
on my race courses all the time. Like, we fill little cracks and potholes
Yeah.
with a bag of just, you get a bag of, I forget what it's called, but like, it's asphalt stuff that you just
Saccharine kind of
pack down with a tamper.
Yeah.
Costs
Yeah.
$15-20. So
Right.
if we have to, we could do that. I would imagine, right? Would Link probably wouldn't have any opposition to that, would he?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Probably should, as a courtesy, let
Maybe
him know,
just
yeah.
notify him afterwards
Yeah.
and ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Well, would they pay for it? That's kind of.
It's not even worth asking.
Yeah.
Like, you got to try to go through that, unless he's got a bag sitting around.
I would think just a quick email to him.
Okay.
He's easy to deal with. He will answer back, and he's.
None of them are there yet. So,
Yeah.
Let's see how we get through the next couple months and go from there.
Next, we have a visitor. We're lucky to have a visitor. So, Carol, do you want to?
Sure, do you mind if I join you at the table?
I hope you do.
Why, thank you. Hi. Hey,
Carol.
everyone. Hi, Carolyn Carey, the Community Center Director. And I wanted to bring you an event that we're doing because it's right up your alley for all of you. There you go.
Thank you.
So I certainly know that you are well aware of Dr. Stephanie Soar's abilities and professionalism, and she has done many programs for us. And she has agreed to come in and do a bike safety, care, and comfort workshop. And this is really for any level, but certainly for some more mid-range.
Yeah.
I don't think beginner, but everyone is welcome. Certainly not for the advanced crew like yourself. You know how to fix everything, but you're always welcome. And she is a phenomenal resource. She has been fitting bikes, has her own shop. She does this as a courtesy and a free program for everyone. So we just wanted to let you know about it in case you can pass the word. It's here in the building. May 14th, and we start at 3:30, and we just like to get the word out there because I find her to be more than helpful and lovely to work with. So
This is Dr. Stephanie?
yes,
Is she from Harwich by any chance?
she is not Harwich.
She used to have a practice.
Trying to
here.
recruit her with
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, she's not.
All right.
So how does
No.
this get
Centerville?
advertised?
I think.
Say again?
She's a Centerville. Well, you were.
Yes.
One thing
So.
she. I think.
Yeah.
What's her last name again?
It is
Soars.
SOARES.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I just want to get it for the notes.
I just wanted to make sure I spelled it
How does
correctly.
it get advertised or whatever?
So we put it in our newsletter. We make flyers. I'll put it in the Cape Cod Chronicle, and I go before the Board of Selectmen, the Select Board, and make public announcements about all of our upcoming programs. And then we do things like this, come by any place that it might be helpful for people to know who are gonna run into people. We'll also give it to the Recreation Department for them to put out, because the
Good.
more information you can get out there and the
Yeah.
better equipped you are on the road, the less scary I believe it is when you're gonna be
Yeah.
riding. So.
Good.
And
Thank you.
I want to just second all the things that you said. I went to her last one and did a bike fitting with her, and whether you think you know how to change a tire or not, I guarantee she's up on the latest greatest information. And there's all kinds of new tires and tires without tubes, tires without tubes. So I'm sure she's got plenty of information, and she's brave enough to take the wheels off and change the tube right there in front of you.
I learn
get-
something every
I
time.
yeah, I can't say enough that you will enjoy the class for sure.
Great.
So we appreciate it if you help
Thank you.
get the word out. That's
We'll
what
do
we
it. I
want.
definitely
Is it gonna be in one of those little rooms or like in a,
I believe we have her scheduled in the multi-purpose room, so
Great.
it's great because she not only talks but does the actual demonstration, which
Yeah.
whichever way is best your learning skill, she's going to talk it through and show it, which we think is wonderful.
And she's a physical therapist, so she
Right.
can actually help even us. Probably we need it more than anybody at our age to make sure we're fit correctly on the
She
bike.
Yeah.
is. It makes a difference.
Help
I
us
know.
with those aches and pains.
No
Yeah.
question about it.
I think it was like 250 or something like that?
I
250
actually
bucks?
don't know.
I
Well,
don't
thank you
know.
for hosting her. This is a great
Yeah.
event. I'm glad
Yes.
that she's going to be
Oh,
here.
Yes,
and
thanks
well,
for doing
you
that.
know, I am. It's one of my favorites. I am
Are you a cyclist?
not a very good one, but I'm a big trier, right?
I'm not a very good
We don't
cyclist.
judge. This is a judgment-free zone.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it.
If you're
I
on
love it.
wheels, whether it's 2, 3, 4, we consider you part of the family.
Absolutely.
What's
Yep.
your last name, Carolyn?
Carey, Carey.
Thank you.
Well, thanks, Carolyn.
Thank
And,
you. Thanks,
Guarantee we'll
everyone.
get get the information
Yeah,
out to
and if
our
anyone
friends.
needs any more information or flyers, anything I can provide you, just let me know.
And a nice flyer too.
Yeah, it looks good.
Well, thanks.
Shows hands-on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Terrific.
guys have done a great job with your posters and stuff. over the
Oh,
last year,
thanks.
too.
Yeah, we've been,
Definitely noticed you leveled up your game. So
we're
good
trying
work.
hard. So thank you. Thanks
you.
for letting me sneak in. You didn't
bet.
lock the door hard enough. Thanks, everyone.
We leave that little
See you around.
crack.
I'll see you on the road,
Yes.
Hopefully.
On the rail trail.
whichever you prefer. I'm a road rider, sorry.
All righty.
The next thing I have on the list is Town of Barnstable Rail Trail Extension progress. Fran, do you want to speak to that, or would you like me to?
Well, no reason why we both couldn't.
Okay, why don't you start?
As you know, or maybe you have seen, that the rail trail extension has started in Yarmouth. They've taken down several trees and even have a dirt path out there.
What?
Dirt path.
And the progress, or the trail is supposed to be completed in 5 years. So they're just beginning. And there's plans for a bridge over to Willow Street.
Yep.
And as soon as I get my information out here, let's see, they say that there's gonna be a bridge over to Station Avenue. They already have that, right?
Yes, over Station Avenue, yes.
Yeah.
And they're gonna put one over to Willow Street.
Yeah.
Great.
Which end are they starting from? The one, the
Well,
golf course?
yes, if you follow that golf
Yeah.
course, and when you get to the end there,
across
you
the
could go
street.
either right or left. They've extended it probably a mile in each direction. I'm not sure where
The new rail trail, the permanent rail trail, actually turns north before you get to.
Okay.
Kroll, is it Kroll Road there?
Okay, so
what that
Yeah,
I
like
heard
in
that.
the golf course, which is
Yeah.
why the mountain bikers are upset because
Oh.
some of the mountain biking paths have now been, sort of cut because they've cleared the
Okay.
way for the new rail trail.
And they've actually cleared that way.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
it
yes,
firsthand,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I've heard that they've started to clear it out.
Okay.
So when you get to Higgins Kroll, when coming through the golf course and you get to that sort of a dead end right now, you can either go right down to, or left down to Buck Island Road.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you go right and it goes up to that little rotary.
Yeah.
And then, is it gonna go straight across, or is it gonna go up right to the rotary? and
No,
then-
I'm fairly certain, unless things have changed over the last year and a half, that the turn north is well before Higgins Kroll Road.
Oh,
It's like a half mile back, and it goes through what is like the woods next to the golf course.
Okay.
Goes all the way up, then turns west, and comes out sort of comes out up on the you know that section of road that's closed, like you take Higgins Scroll
Yes,
Road
I
north.
did, yes.
Yes.
You get to the rotary and you have to go west.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a road that's got a gate
Yep.
that goes north,
That you
and
can-
then
Right.
it goes to like a utility something or other.
Right.
Yeah.
So that
Salt
road
trucks.
that goes up north and then turns west and comes down to Route 6.
Okay.
And the rail trail is going to intersect. The new rail trail will sort of run along Route 6 and then intersect with that street and then come down and then go on the new bridge.
So they're not using the section of the old,
No, that's just the town of Yarmouth. As far as I know, that was the town of Yarmouth putting in rail trail, bike accessibility along Higgins Croll Road.
Which that makes sense to me now. I get it now, because I couldn't understand why they went both ways.
Yeah.
That's because, and
That's town
I
Yarmouth.
think, Fran, you told me, okay, so that was what the town of Yarmouth did.
Yeah, and that was done.
DCR would be behind what you're talking about, the rail
Exactly.
trail extension.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that, yeah, so
Because
you're
I
gonna-
couldn't understand
That's at
it.
least
Yeah.
a quarter mile, half a mile.
Okay. Yeah, I remember
east of
somebody
Higgins Croll
pointing
Road.
it out. I didn't know there was a.
There was a path through there,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it wasn't
because-
like
yeah.
you know. And
Rough.
so I read on one of the Cape Cod mountain biking groups that they started clearing the trees and it's now a construction area.
Wow, wow.
So
So that's,
Interesting.
always great news. Under old business, Fran, you can help me with this, and actually you may not know. I have it down that we want to update the contact list. I was having trouble reaching one of the members, and Paul was able to get through. And do we now have her contact information, Fran? Is it
I guess
different?
Paul does, I don't.
Okay,
I did
I'll
not-
take that. I will check with Paul so that we make sure we're using her correct address. Because whatever address I had, it was being sent back. So I'll finish that off, and I have it on there to follow up on the charter changes that you had talked about.
yeah. So there has been no progress since I had that train wreck of a meeting with the
Okay.
selectmen.
I didn't know it was a train wreck.
Oh yeah, they were not happy with me.
Oh,
No, they
Uh-oh.
were just cutting me off left, right, and center. Because I basically said, like I gave a brief update on the rail trail, and I said one of the things we've been working on I gave an update on the committee. I said one of the things we've been working on is we'd like to expand or change the scope of the committee to be the Bikeways and Pedestrian Committee as opposed to the Bikeways Committee. And eyes blew up, and I started to talk, and they interrupted me. They cut me off several times, and I plowed through it. And got
okay.
got to the end, got it out. I mean, I probably got out 30% of what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
They were not psyched about me bringing up anything
Okay.
that
what
had to
was
do with
their,
that.
what was
They
their,
basically said this is not the time and place to propose a change like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not actually proposing the change to you guys. I'm reporting on what the committee's been working on, which is what you asked me to come here for. And this is a pretty important component of that.
Yeah.
Because it impacts the things that we've wanted to work on but haven't been able to, and the things we're going to work on. So anyway, I think the directive was, talk to your committee liaison person,
Okay.
who it's no longer,
Okay.
it's someone new. I'm forgetting who it is. But.
Did it change to Miss Kavanaugh?
No, it had been Miss Cavanaugh.
Okay.
she's-
Okay.
And now it's someone else.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Can I comment on this? Are we, unless you have more to say, I didn't.
No, that's it. So, I mean, it's still there.
I watched it, and I thought, prior to this, I'd been on the golf committee, and they basically the select board just disbanded the golf committee. And I think the part of it was they felt that the golf committee, the people who took over the golf committee basically after I left, overstepped their bounds. And there was a little of that feeling, I thought, though,
No doubt.
and I think it would be probably a good idea if we just stick to our title, at least being the Bikeways Committee. Just that's our major purview, or whatever you want to say. We're an advisory group. If we start talking like we want to be involved with pedestrians involve people crossing the street in Harwichport. We really don't have. We interact with pedestrians. We interact with motor vehicles. We interact with skateboarders. but our focus is on the places, I think, primarily bikeways. And I think if we, at least in our title, our stay as Bikeways Committee, it's sort of clean and simple. And we don't get into overlaps with highway department stuff, that's where, what happened with Golf Committee was, I think they felt like the committee was getting involved with town employees and things like that. And would we be overstepping what Link is supposed to be doing and all that kind of stuff? I just think we have to be cautious.
I'm all for being cautious, but the fact that one committee got chased out of town doesn't discourage me from what I think we've all agreed as a committee was the correct course of action, which is try to become more consistent with the other communities here on Cape Cod and not just be an extension of Department of Public Works, making sure that the rail trail is in good condition. That's not the role we want. That's not the role that I envision for this committee going forward. This committee going forward is about having the rail trail become more accessible for the people that use it. And it's not just cyclists.
Right.
I use the rail trail significantly more often as a runner or as a dad with my children than I do as a cyclist.
No doubt.
And the name Harwich Bikeways Committee and the current charge simply doesn't reflect what we do, have been doing, and what we want to do going forward. So with all that said, like if we as a committee decide that we don't want to continue pursuing this, then perhaps we change it. But we had proposed, and what I talked about at that meeting was a little bit of like what I just explained, that we're trying to become more consistent and trying to represent more of the residents of Harwich than just the people that are riding their bikes. And frankly, also to not just be in charge of maintenance. When you read the current charge, the committee will make recommendations for the allocation of funds to be used to ensure safety on our bikeways, including but not limited to the purchase of crossing lights and road intersections. Community education on safe bicycling practices falls within the scope of the committee and in conjunction with the Harwich Police Department, MassDOT, and other relevant municipal entities. It doesn't talk about recreation, doesn't talk about running or inline skating or walking or all those other things. And when you look at every other bicycle or bikeways committee in the area, especially Outer Cape and Mid Cape, it's all cycling and pedestrian. So,
Chatham's not.
If
Chatham's Bikeways, I think, right? And the other two other towns don't even have committees. Brewster doesn't, or no, not Brewster. Brewster, I forget. Yarmouth doesn't have one. Dennis and Yarmouth don't have committees. Chatham is
there's precedent. There are committees. I'll go back and get the numbers because when we brought this up several months ago, when we brought it up several months ago, I told the committee, these are the towns that have a bikeways and pedestrian committee.
I was here. Yeah.
And to us with us just being a bikeways committee, and the current charge is not representative of what we've done and what we want to do. So, I don't think that we're going to run the risk of being disbanded as a committee. I think if anything, we're going to ruffle a few feathers and we're going to get more done and we're going to become more efficient and effective in the future.
I don't disagree.
Whether they agree with us or not on changing the name or the charge.
Well, I think contacting our liaison would be where we would start.
It has to be because that's what they specifically said.
Whether it was miscommunication or they didn't understand or they were concerned that we ended up where we shouldn't be, I don't think we're going in any of the bad places. So I agree with you, and I think maybe starting there and just see what the answer is there, and then continue on from there.
One other thing about that night I thought was that they had a lot of other things on their agenda that were, in their mind, I forget what it was. It was like North Harwich Development was part of that night of that agenda, and they were saying, this isn't our top priority.
Well, do you remember the two guys that spoke before me for like 40 minutes about? I don't remember them. I was cut off after like 3 minutes, and this was after somebody else had spoke ad nauseum about something that the committee just felt was far more important than bikeways.
Okay.
And I'm just, for the last thing on my agenda here, I'm just going to make a announcement about the rail trail, the Cape Cod Rail Trail. They are doing a route repair project where they're repaving the certain sections, and they're working on that. Where they have worked is great. It's a smooth
Yeah.
entry and exit. There was one, I think it's a two-step process when they do it, so it needed a little more fill in there. I think they're going to, it's just probably the weather and everything else. So they're moving right along. I heard that they were gonna do from Nickerson Park to Yarmouth, getting rid of but just getting rid of the root heaves, really.
Well, the heaves are worse north of Nickerson.
They've worked in that section
The
too.
Wellfleet section
Yeah.
is
Oh,
the worst.
That Wellfleet section,
It's brutal.
it really catches you because you're not expecting it, because you had a nice 5 or 6 miles, and then you're just sitting there on your bike, boom. So I don't disagree, although I don't think that's their focus right
No.
now. In other words, they did up to where they did in Eastham,
Yeah.
and now they took from Nickerson going the other way, essentially. And I don't know how much money they have, but they have X amount of money, and they just do as much of the repairs as they can do.
And they do a good job.
And
they stretch your dollars.
they do a good job, and the thing I think about it that I'm really happy about is this is the second year in a row they've done that. So now it may be more in their purview that they're doing this as a preventative thing. So they do X amount of dollars per year, and that's really the answer you want. Maybe you can't get everything you want, but as long as they're working on it,
Right.
and they should be. Alan, you make a good point that when we see people from DCR, we should mention that, for next year, that area up in Wellfleet.
Yeah.
I agree about that. So, yes. So I'm really happy with the rail trail. I see for a long time, we didn't have any work done, and we had work done sporadically, to be honest about it. You'd have it one year and it would be a long time before you would see it again. So now it's been 2 straight years, and that's great. And hats off to all the folks at DCR. They definitely earn their money, for sure.
Great.
I don't have anything else. Anybody else?
I have, did you see my letter?
Yes, I'm sorry. I
It's
didn't.
okay, I
yeah.
just wanted to report that I was asked to look into trying to raise some money from, for helmets and bike lights and stuff. And I spoke to the town clerk, she sent me an email, which I circulated, I think everybody should have gotten it.
I read it.
And it doesn't look like that's feasible.
Right.
Not feasible.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't read it, so. Okay. Oh, well, that's
It
off the,
was running amok with the, what do they call it? Whatever. Things.
Bylaws or
Yeah.
open
Yeah,
meetings,
yeah, yeah.
something or other.
Yeah.
Just fundraising, like
Yeah.
when money is involved.
Yeah.
Conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest, yes.
All that
There you
stuff.
go. That's what it was. Yes.
So,
But she also said that we're like employees.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Is anybody else related to the conflict of interest thing? I filled out the training thing. Then I just joined the committee, I think a few months ago.
Oh, you got
You
it
get-
better too?
Like, you got it again?
Yeah.
I just said, I wrote back to them and said, no, I've done it. Every 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah.
Okay.
I did
Mine's
it.
only a year.
I know. Yeah, well, you and I are about the same.
Yeah. I'll have to
Did you
admit,
get one?
it is, yes, it's very much easier than what it was when I first took it.
Really?
Oh, so you guys, you don't know.
Oh. Well, I blew it off. 'Cause
Yeah,
I've done it.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not doing
yeah,
it again, so.
Well, good.
Okay.
I vote we adjourn. Anybody?
Second.
Yeah.
second.
Good.
Fran,
Thank you. 28 minutes.
Efficient.
Solid.
don't get too
All right.
hot down there now.
See if we can get it with,
Fran, when are you back, Fran?
75 degrees.
Oh, don't tell me that. It's 70,
Okay.
it's not even 75 in my house.
so you're running Monday?
I am.
Yeah, great.
Oh,
The
good for you, Al.
21st in a row. I can't believe it.